Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Amadeitist Church service. Outline of the service this evening is as follows. We'll have an opening prayer given by our guest medium this evening, Kes Eggleton from Gloucester. I believe I got that right.
Lovely.
Then there'll be an address given by Kes, followed by some music. We then send out healing to those on our distant healing list, followed by some more music. And then we'll have a demonstration of mediumship with Kes, who will endeavour to bring our loved ones in spirit through for us. I'll then read out our notifications, and Kes will close with a prayer, followed by our closing music. The room will remain open for anybody who wants to stay behind after the service, have a chat. You're more than welcome. Okay, I shall hand over to Kes for our opening prayer.
Okay, thank you. If you'd all like to go into the silence, please. We'd like to ask the Divine Spirit, Mother, Father, God, our loved ones, angels and helpers, to all draw close this evening. We ask as they draw close with that one heart, one light and one love. And as we sit with an open heart, may we send our healing thoughts to Spirit in whatever form they take. May that healing give the strength of love unconditional that sees it through the earth, the universe and beyond, igniting that light that lies within each and every one of us, reminding us all that we are part of the biggest family of all, never to be on our own. And I ask this in the name of that great Spirit, who is pure love. Amen.
Amen. Okay, I'll give you a moment there, Kes, and then hand over to you for the address.
Okay, thank you, lovely. Good evening, everyone. What I'm actually being inspired to speak about this evening, some of the things that have been happening around recently in the environment that we're all in, and I think I've been talking a lot this year about one of our biggest senses that we have lost is the sense of touch, the sense of hug, and that it is being replaced by how we hug each other is by words at the minute. But how we lead our lives and the things that affect our lives are so compounded at the moment because emotions are so high and anxiety is so high that all we're seeing when we look at our media or the papers or around is everything at a heightened level. Some see violence on there, the gangs, the groups. Everybody's emotions are really heightened. So as a result, how we see things and how we hear things are not in the right way for a lot of people because it's more reactive than anything else. And I think, when we actually look at the world we're in right now, there is so much goodness and there is so much there within the communities that we're all living that is building and growing in amongst all of this that's going on. And I think the sadness is at the moment that people are kind of being drowned out. They're being drowned out by opinions. It's a constant. And I'm constantly seeing people falling out with each other over differing opinions in a world that really at the moment should be pulling together as one. We all should be actually embracing each other and helping each other through and understanding that we all handle things very, very differently. And I think when we're on a lockdown situation that we've been on for as many weeks as we have, all those things that normally we can escape from, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, where normally we can keep ourselves busy and we can mix and we can talk with people and we can avoid a lot of things, and now closing in, and it's almost like the things that we've hidden from are really coming to the surface for a lot of people, and there is no outlet. So in a lot of cases I feel that's where the outlets are coming. But in remembering that everybody has their own way of dealing with things and the understanding of where it's all coming from and then not reacting, to me is kind of a thing that we need to try and remember, because we can't physically hug someone to calm them down. The next thing that we can do is just sit back and listen and not react, and remember that and hug a person with a word as opposed to, because when we talk about the fist and we talk about the tongue, they're two very, very powerful tools that we have. And my goodness me, each muscle can really vent if it gives its chance. But it turns us all deaf because we then stop listening, and then we stop doing anything about it because it's all drowned out. And so I feel at the moment, you know, in the world we're living in, it's finding those little positives out of everything. And, you know, I say this constantly, when you look at nature, it's our biggest example. You know, you could have storms like we've had today. It doesn't matter what happens. Those birds will still come out singing. They don't wait to see what's coming. They sing at the top of their voice and they just celebrate their day. And, you know, when we look at everything around us, it is far simpler than we think. And it's looking to those little things that bring the smile, those little things that actually, those little tiny seeds in life that can actually start changing the bits and bobs around us. So we can actually concentrate on that rather than the noise that's around. And I think that helps us to look at things a little differently. Because we're living in a world at the moment where we don't feel we've got any individual control. Because, you know, for a lot of people, they're feeling controlled. And so we look at the things that we can, and that's our own little home environment. That's the environment we all live in here. And, you know, it is literally starting from that tiny seed. And the feeding and the watering of that seed is the love and the nurture that's around. And we can do something about that. And, you know, if many of us do those little things, and when we're out and about and we're with people and we see people kind of coming out of the boundary, maybe it's your energy, maybe it's your, and how you handle it may just be, even if it's just one person, actually can make a difference. It can actually say, well, hang on a minute, the world's not that scary. Maybe we need to just look at things a little differently. But if we're constantly reacting to each other and we're constantly handing keys to other people to say, this is how your life should be and this is how whatever should be, then in reality, what we're doing is as bad as what's going on around. And it's just remembering that together we can achieve so much. And, you know, it is a simple world we live in. I think people make it more complicated. And it's remembering to keep it simple. A smile, crikey, that's the biggest hug of all, isn't it? You know, when someone comes up to you and smiles, it doesn't matter if they're spitting feathers. It's something so beautiful. And, you know, I always say there's a reason a smile goes upwards, because it lifts you up. And it really is something so simple, costs nothing. You don't need a battery for it. You don't need anything for it. A smile can be better than anything else. And, you know, where I'm living, and I've been telling everybody since this lockdown, because it's an amazing thing, is we have one person. And the funny thing is, the last service I did, I was talking about this. There's a young girl somewhere, don't know where she is or who she is. She's making love hearts with buttons. And she's sticking on, and they're made with love. And she writes on the back of them, made with love. And she leaves them anonymously. So the whole of the village where I live here and the village next door are getting anonymous buttons. And all I know is, while I was doing my last service, my husband noticed there was someone coming through the door, and it was the very thing. It was the heart. And all he saw was the back of someone jump our gate. So all I know is she's athletic. Because my gate's quite tall. She was up and over and gone. Now, you know, when people at the moment are saying, oh, you know, and I'm seeing a lot of things about our youth don't care. Our youth are not brought up. This is a young girl. And this is a young girl who doesn't want to be known. So much so that now people are getting a little bit jealous if they haven't got a love heart. But, you know, that is something here we will remember, because it's united people. Now, we all remember when we were little growing up, having button tins to play with, don't we? Well, this young lady's changed it into something different, and mine's now in my front window. And it's just a thank you. And, you know, that to me is a seed of something that can change something. Something so simple, so beautiful, in amongst all of the stuff going on right now. And I think that's what we all need to remember, is the simple things. And remember that we do have each other. And, you know, out of everything that's gone on, I now know my neighbours' names. They don't, I was just the weird woman down the corner. Now I know their names. So there are so many positives out of so much that is going on at the minute. And I think the biggest thing we can remember, you know, with everything going on, is that, yeah, it's tough. It really is. But there is a balance. And it's the balance that we can all bring. And if we all each individually remember that, it can still change in the better way. But not a lot of people like change. They like their comfort zones. And I think that's what's happening now, is the comfort zones are being just pushed out a bit. So those little things that's inside of you that mean so much, they can keep you and help you through each and every part of it. And that's the thing that I keep trying to encourage and reminding people, that no matter what's going on, your world and how you interact is the most important thing, and that's how we can help. It's not the voice that shouts the loudest or the fist that bangs the hardest. It's that each and every one of us that mix together that can help each other. And that's the thing I wanted to share. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Kes. It's beautiful, and thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. In time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much for you. Still more, I need your love. I need your love. God, speak your love to me. Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Yeah. Lonely riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch. Oh, Lord, lonely time.
Okay, if you please join me now in a moment's silence as I read out our distant healing list and say our spiritualist healing prayer. We ask for healing for the following: Valerie Dixon for physical and life worries, Samantha with fibromyalgia and depression, Gemma and family for grief, Penny with abnormal cells, Emma with polycystic ovaries, Anne with Alzheimer's, Ray with heart problems, Sean with heart and knee problems. Gracious Spirit, of thy goodness, hear our anxious prayer. Take our loved ones who are suffering 'neath thy tender care. Loving Father, hear us. Gracious Spirit, may thy presence shed a healing ray, turning all their night of darkness into glorious day. Loving Father, hear us. Gracious Spirit, shouldst thou claim them, be their light and guide. Lead them to the heavenly kingdom, safely by thy side. Loving Father, hear us. Hear us. Amen.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend. We've known each other since we were 9 or 10. Together we've climbed hills and trees, learned of love and ABC, and skinned our hearts and skinned our knees. Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, pretty girls are everywhere. Think of me and I'll be there. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the hills that we climbed were just seasons out of time. Goodbye, Papa, please pray for me. I was the black sheep of the family. You tried to teach me right from wrong. Too much wine and too much song, wonder how I got along. Goodbye, Papa, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, children everywhere. When you see them, I'll be there. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the wine and the song, like the seasons, have all gone. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the wine and the song, like the seasons, have all gone. Goodbye, Michelle, my little one. You gave me love and helped me find the sun. And every time that I was down, you would always come around and get my feet back on the ground. Goodbye, Michelle, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, with the flowers everywhere, I wish that we could both be there. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the stars we could reach were just starfish on the beach. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, starfish on the beach. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the wine and the song, like the seasons, have all gone. All our lives we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the hills that we climbed were just seasons out of time. We had joy.
Lovely tune. I wish I could have just turned all your microphones on then and listened to you all singing away. I could see you all singing, but couldn't hear. Right, now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest medium this evening. So please give her your loving thoughts as she links into spirit on our behalf. Over to you, Kev. Let me just unmute you so that you can put your microphone on. There you go.
Let me rest assured, Kevin, you don't want to hear me sing. My parents always said, we're going home. Stop singing. Evening, everyone. The way I work is I always work with love and laughter, so I do apologise for the humour before I go any further. But what I always say is, please, if I don't come to you with a message, please remember there is always a message and a message for each and every one. And I always say this because some people think that they're not there, but they're always with you. Okay. And I do go direct, so I'm going to come straight away to Sharon Thomas. You all right to work with me, lovely? Because I have a gentleman who wants to work with you straight away, and you do have a beautiful smile, but I have to say this gentleman's very like you as well. And I feel with this gentleman, he was very much a man. Is he standing next to you? He's quite a solid chap as I look at him, quite straight up and down, but very much a man, shirt sleeves up, definitely. And I feel with this gentleman, proper trousers, and he might have worn a belt now and again, he tells me. But as I look at him and I go down to the feet area, he likes his shoes clean and tidy. They don't have to shine so you can see his face. He says, but I like them clean and tidy. And I know with him, he is clean shaven as well, as I look. Liked his hair tidy, but I feel with him, gets out the wind, it's off. And I know as he was younger, he might have used a bit of Brill cream at one time, because I just feel with him, he was and is a very smart man, but he's a working man. And let me make no fuss about it. And I know with this gentleman, he showed me when he shaved it, it was the old rabid dog look. You know, and I just feel with you, you're always question after question after question, he tells me, especially when you were little. But I do feel with this gentleman, he showed me always wearing a watch on his left wrist. Yes. I know his gentleman, it's plain, it's simple. There's nothing fancy about this man whatsoever. He literally is a man's man. And he literally, you know, when he's out and about, he likes to be out and about. He's not a man to sit and do nothing. But I know with this gentleman, he's a man who most people would say hello and goodbye to. He's got that kind of energy about him that people would always want to talk to him. Not saying he would talk to them, however, because if he wanted to go his way, he goes his way. And he's showing me, he says, I can't be doing with small talk. And I don't feel he likes all the women in his ear either. And he did get his hands dirty for a living, because he's shown me working quite hard. Yes. And he's showing me with him, and I don't know where the docs come in, or there was a link to docs within the family. I'm not sure if it's him. And he's shown me also links to someone living in an old tenement, because I'm looking at the old tenements. And I'm also looking, there was 2 families in one tenement he's talking about. And you had family members all very close by. Yep. He's also shown me terraced houses. And I don't know who lived in number 25, because he's also mentioning 25 or near 25. And somebody had a green door, because I'm just looking at going in a green door. But where this house was, also there's an alleyway that you went in down there, and then you went down the back. Okay. And he was very much a man of detail, though. I feel with this gentleman, he had a memory. He could remember everything, but I just feel with him, he also had a very selective memory. And I feel with this gentleman, he always has to be right. And he has a very good sense of humour. And it's very dry and very, very quick. And I'm not sure if he smoked. Because all I can hear is tap, 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 tap. But I feel he tapped the pipe more than he put the tobacco in. Because as I'm looking at him, and I've got a funny feeling, everybody complained about him. And the funny thing is, your nan used to have, you know, the things on the back of your head and on the arms of the chairs. Yeah. He had them. And every time he got up, he left his head mark behind him. And he wasn't bothered. He said, I'm not doing the washing. But and I just feel he's a grandfather
Yes.
as he comes in. But he's no messing, and I know in his younger years this man could handle himself. He could. He's not afraid of his words. And I just feel as he's coming in around you, it's almost like, come on, girl, we've got to move, we've got to get on. He's coming in as a strength with you. Now, he's not a lovey-dovey man.
No.
He's definitely not a man to talk about his emotions. As he comes in, he's literally, I'll shake your hand, but that's it. Don't come too close. But I just feel as he's coming in around you, it's almost like we've got to sort things out. Yeah. But as he starts talking, there's a lady comes in with white hair, pale blue round neck jumper, skirt, tights. Not a big lady, but she has a little bit of cuddle, she tells me. And this lady has got the most amazing skin, but she also has glasses similar shape to you, actually. It might be a bit smaller, but this lady doesn't miss a trick. And she showed me her old sideboard, and it had 2 cupboards and drawer in the middle. And I know this lady, she did have an old decanter, but, the nearest you get to that is sherry, but it never got from the bottle to there. It stayed there. And I know with her, she's very much a lady. Right in the middle, she would have kept her rent book. She would have kept all her little bits and bobs. And you were also very lucky in the fact that she also gave you sweets, what she's saying. And you would remember those sweets, and you would remember having them, she's saying. And I feel she always had something waiting for you, but you used to like toffee Rolo things.
Yeah.
And you used to get told off because you were trying to talk with it in your mouth, and she's telling you off. But I just feel as they're both coming in around you. And there's an uncle there as well coming in. And he is quite a character, short hair, cap, shirt, trousers, literally. If I keep going, I think I'll have the whole family there. But I just feel it's a support around you because you yourself have been going through some really pretty tough times, and you've been panicking, and you're not feeling the best at the minute, and it's like you're hanging on to things. Yeah. And as they're coming in, it's to say it's about standing on your own 2 feet, but it's knowing it's okay to do that. Because I just feel within family itself, there's been a few divisions, and there's been a few things that's not quite right. And what they're saying to you, because we only go so far, this is public, but what they're saying to you is, sometimes we need to look at what we've achieved as opposed to what we haven't. And they're really proud of you, really proud of you. But I do feel there's a change within work because they're talking about work. And I just feel what they're saying is run with it or go with it. But you wobbling about something. It's like, do I, don't I? You got to go with your heart, love. They're not going to tell you what to do, but it's down to your heart. But I do also feel there's something on the side you're trying to sort out as well. And there's something to do with paperwork. And something's kind of not been fair. And what they're saying is, don't look at what hasn't happened. Look at what is. And that's what's going to take you forward, all right? There's a father who's still here. Or standing here.
Oh, okay.
He's a thin gentleman as he comes, or got thinner before he went to spirit. And I feel chest issues. Yeah. And I mean really bad chest issues. It's almost like he announced himself with a cough. But I do feel, bless his heart, he couldn't get his words out. Now, he's not an old man. No. He's not an old man. And I'd say late 50s, could be a bit older, but I just know he's not old. And I just know with this gentleman, he knows his opinion. He knows his own mind, okay? And he wants to be last in because he needs you to know he loves you. But there is something surrounding a male here, and he's saying common sense. He's just talking about, it's like, give them a break, let it work it out itself, and it'll be okay. But he wants people to know he's all right. Because I just feel with him, he's not been in spirit a fantastic amount of time. And I just feel with him, there's been a lot of things left over from his passing. And what he's actually saying to you is, love, I do love you. I didn't tell you that. I didn't. But I do. And I do. I just couldn't get me words out. But he did, bless his heart, he did struggle towards the end. Okay. And he said, I wanted to be last because I think he showed respect to everybody else. So can I please? Oh, and I heard the name John shouted in quite strong there, but I also heard William and Thomas and Robert shouted in also. Andrew also was shouted in. Also the name of Paul. They're all men. We're also, I know you're Sharon. Yeah. I've just realised you're Sharon because he shouted Sharon. But also there's a Jane or a Janet shouted in, and also a Margaret.
Yes.
and a Mary, but I'm not sure if that's two separate or one name. Also, Jack was shouted in as well. Okay, and I could keep going on forever. I think I'll be bringing your whole family tree through. And also, there's something about the number 52 bus. Something about a bus, and all I'm getting is don't get on the wrong bus. But I think that's your dad's telling me that sometimes with you were such a daydream, you get on the wrong bus, and you do remember that because they had to go and pick you up. Yeah, and he is laughing, but he said all those memories. He just needs you to know, you know, he literally he's got nothing, no regrets whatsoever, and he just needs you to know he's there. So can I really leave their love with you? And and he said, that's what I want to see is the smile. Okay. And you've made his day just to see his smile. But he does love you, my darling. Okay. And I don't know what he's just said something about the bairns or the little ones, or and one in particular needs to sort his feet out. So I will leave their love with you, but just know that they're with you 100%. Okay, you're welcome, my darling. And oh, I've got to go over here now. This is where me and the computer don't get on. Okay, who am I going to? All right. Where was the lady that was first? I just saw her name come up. Belinda Love, can I work with you, my darling? Because I just saw your name on here. Oh, I've got to go back, haven't I? Belinda, bless you, thank you. Belinda, as I saw your name down that list, there's a gentleman came in and he just pointed straight away to you. I feel with this gentleman as he comes in, he's a man who, let's just say I couldn't say no to him. He's definitely a gentleman when he was here, that like to do things his way. I just feel as he comes in, he is a smart man, but I feel he's a man who he's not a suit and boot all the time. He's a working man, he's shown me. And I know with this gentleman, he's not tall, he's under 6 foot, but as I look at him, he's very much a man who has the most beautiful eyes. And he is a working man because he's shown me working boots as well as normal shoes, but they're leather, they're not canvas or trainers or anything like that. He likes proper leather shoes. And I just feel with him as he comes in, he must have had a kink or a curl in his hair at one time. I'm not sure he had it towards the end because I've got a feeling it might have thinned a bit. But I just know with him, he keeps pointing to his head. Yeah. And I just feel as he's coming, he smells nice as well, but I think it's soap. I don't feel it's aftershave. I feel it's soap. And I just feel with this gentleman as he comes in, very much a man, he is very black and white in his ways. He's very life either is or it isn't. There isn't a middle road with this gentleman. And he is a gentleman. He's not loud, but I feel he would have put his head down and just got on with life. And I just feel with him, he's very much a man who, as he comes in, I just feel he might have suffered with his tummy sometimes. Because as he comes in, I can feel his stomach. But I just feel with this gentleman, he's also a man who likes to get on with things. I don't like to sit and do nothing. I'm very much a man who I like to keep busy and I like to be outside. And I feel with him as he's coming in around you, it's almost like he's getting hold of your arm and he's saying, come on, go, we're going to do it. We're getting out. And yeah, he did. and I don't know if he likes a garden, but he's not what we call a Percy thrower. You know, we don't have nice little flowers all in a row kind of thing. He's laughing. I just feel he can mow a lawn, but that's about as far as we get. Well, no, there's a bit more than that, he says. I say, come on. But I feel he can be a bit charming when he wants to be. And I just feel with him, he can get his own way if he wants to as well. He had a way of getting round people. But the thing is, I really like his personality. And when that music was being played earlier, the very last song, he likes that. He likes anything like that. But I feel it's also got a link to someone in your family because somebody really did like that. And he's talking about it as he comes in. But I just feel as he comes in around you, he's putting his arms on your shoulder. And he just said to tell her he said, tell her it's all right, love. And I just feel, and he would have been a bit of a tease. And I know with this gentleman, he would have blown a raspberry at you or either on your cheek. Because I just feel he has that really jokey sense of humor. And it's almost like as a child, you know, I've got your nose routine. You know, he'd do that with his fingers, and you'd think he definitely did have his nose because you were quite easily led, he says. And he's smiling about it, but I just feel he's also shown me something to do with a car. Now, somebody either had an old Rover. Now, I'm not very good with cars, so I do apologise. But he's also taken me to someone had a Ford Capri in the family. So I don't know if it's around you or around someone else, but he's just mentioning it. Now, he is an English car man. Right, yeah. And I just feel with him, he likes British cars. Now, I don't know what it is about you in a car or someone around you in a car, but he's talking about needing a new one, and he's talking about making but things are not that easy to get to that point. And all he's saying is, you know, if you're patient and you let things roll, things have a habit of turning up at the right time. And I just feel with him, he's very, very, very careful with his money. He doesn't just give it out. He says, if you asked him what he had, it would be, I tell you, he had a fiver, but in reality, he'd have a tenner in his pocket. Always knew his money. Yeah. And I just feel as he's coming in, he would give you this money now. He would give you his last penny. He says, I would give her everything. And well, apparently he did. And that's his sense of humor, Belinda. But I just feel he wants to say to you, you matter. He wants you to know how much he loves you. And he wants you to know that to stop you worrying about these things, because you do worry and things have been getting you down. And he's just saying to you, you know, sometimes, especially within family at the minute, it's like you can't do something for someone and someone's pulling strings or trying to pull strings. And all he's saying is, listen, lovely, it can only happen if you let it. And he's just needing you to know he's helping and supporting you through it, but he's trying to bring a humor in. And I don't know who it is in your family that used to love Les Dawson, but he keeps showing me the two ladies over the fence. And I'm not doing the gesture, but and he is laughing at me. And I don't know who used to love Bob Monkhouse and the Golden Shop. He's also mentioning that. And also there's something to do with you and Dusty Bean, you know, the old 3, 2, 1. Oh, I did it. The 3, 2, 1 thing. It's like I want to bring in the things that lift you up. I want to bring in things that make you smile. And he's just needing you to know that he's been there with you, Belinda. And he's just needing you to know he's around you, my darling. And he's mentioning the fact there's another gentleman with him, but he wants to be the sole person that's coming in. But there is a younger male with him, and a younger male with a wicked sense of humor, and a younger male who was quite slender, just in top and jeans. And I know he went spirit quite quick, and he's just coming in to say hello. But I feel he's standing with him, and I just feel there's quite a few. And he said, you know, we're all okay here. We're having a bit of a party, and just needing you to know that things are okay. So, and I know John is around you as well, because I heard that name shouted in very, very strongly. And and there's a lady just wanted to shout in, yes, your dad. And I just feel these two men have one heck of a sense of humor together, and they'll see you through, they've just said. And I just feel I have to live. And there is a Tom or a Thomas there as well. But also there's a birthday. One's just gone in May, but they're talking about one end of June coming up. We're nearly there. But also they've mentioning one in August, and it's around about the 23rd, or there's something around about the 23rd of August that links around you. And September. Now, September is a really big date. And there's two things I feel is a birthday, but I also feel there's something to do with you. There's a move or moving or going away or something of that nature. And I just get that he's saying, stop your worrying, it will all come up. And he could go on forever. This is a man who I don't know who loves Tom Jones, but I hear Tom Jones being sung. And I'm not doing that. Your dad is very much a man. It's like, oh, go on, do the moves. And I'm like, no, I won't. So can I please leave their love with you? And just know that they've just said there's something about you opening mail, and there's something about you being upset about something to do something in the mail. But I feel you get one, and then you get another that kind of seals everything in the right place. And he's just saying, you know, smile. It looks so much better, he said. And I'm going to leave his love, because he can literally go on forever. And lots of love, my darling. And thank you so much for letting me work with your family. and God bless and thank you. Okay. And oh, hang on a minute, I'm over here. Christopher Rooney, can I work with you, please? That's it. Can I? It's all right to work with you, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
Yes.
Thank you. I've got a gentleman with you trying to come in, and all the time I've been talking and linked to someone, he's been standing by your side, but he's not a man for a check shirt. This is a man with a plain shirt. And I know with this gentleman, he's very much a man who would have been quite a tidy man. He's very much somebody who, even in his clothes, I think he would have worn muted colours as opposed to, you know, like you're wearing blue. He would have been beige, brown, grey, that kind of gentleman. But his shirts would have been plain and simple. I just don't feel this gentleman was a man for anything fancy, as he puts it. But I do feel with as he comes in, he's standing very straight and he's standing shoulders back. He's definitely not a sloucher, but definitely a man as he comes in. You listen to him. He's definitely someone when he comes in that when he spoke, people did listen. Although he's telling me sometimes you could have a way about him, but you either liked him or you didn't. There's no line with him. And I felt very fatherly with him as he come around you. But I also feel with him, it's interesting, you're frozen on my picture with your fist here and your hand on your head. Oh, there's a look. And he's very much a man who, as you are very like him, absolutely nearly his spitting image. And I just feel with him, very much a man who would have shook your hand. He's not what I call a hugger. He would have shook your hand quite firmly. And he is showing me like in lace-up shoes, this gentleman. And if he did lace them up, it would have been across the way, not crisscross. Very particular about how his shoes were done. But that's about it. I just feel with him, he's up, out and gone. He's not someone to take his time. He's not someone to be slow about anything. He's a gentleman who likes to be active. He has a brain, he's telling me, but I feel with him, a lot of things in his life were also self-taught. If he wants to know something, he'd show me, he'd find it himself and in his own way. I don't feel this gentleman liked people interfering. I don't feel with him, he was a man. If I do a job, I'll finish it myself. I don't want, if anyone came and dipped in, he'd just say, here you go, you do it, and then walk off. But I do feel with him, not a man to be overly emotional. He's a very private man. Very, very private man. And I do feel with him very much somebody who is very traditional. And as he's coming in around you, it really is to let you know he's proud of you and he wants to shake your hand. Now with him, it's about respect as well, because I just feel sometimes with him, words could be a little tough. And he's not a man to be, if you got mushy with him, he'd kind of back off a bit, uncomfortable with it. But that's not saying he didn't like it, he did. He just didn't know how to handle it. And I just feel as he's coming in, he wants you to know he loved you. And this is very strong and very powerful. And I feel with him, those words on their own mean a lot to you, he said. But I feel he wants to apologize to you as well, because I just feel sometimes he feels he was a bit hard, or he's a bit hard on you. And I just feel as he's coming in, this is something he's been wanting to say, or he should have said when he was here. And he is a man who I do, you know, his job was the same hours every day. Weekend come in, I got my routine, and that's how I led my life, and for a very long time. And it's almost like I get to retirement, I don't. I'm up and I'm gone. And very much a man who I know he likes everything by routine, and he likes everything in order or ordered. And you are very much someone, he tells me, where a lot of things with you, he's saying it's almost like you've been planning things. It's like 2 steps forward and 4 back. And he's coming in to say to you one thing at a time. Do you understand that? He's wanting to say things one step at a time. All right? Because you put yourself under pressure. You put a standard here. You've already got it. He said, you're just putting yourself under so much pressure when you don't need to. And I just feel as he's coming and he's wanting to say to you, because you are very like him in a lot of your ways. You will find things yourself. You will find out things yourself. And he just needs you to know he's helping you. All right? But he liked to read his newspaper, and he's a man who likes to read back to front. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he just aimed straight for it. And I just feel as he's coming around you, sometimes he's saying, you know, we've got to go through things to get to an end, not go to the end first. And for you, life has been very much like that. You felt it very much like, you know, why does this keep happening? And he's just coming in to say, slow things down a little, take a step back, and that mountain will become a molehill to step over. And he's given me a deck of cards. Now, apparently, when you were younger, you used to like building the old little mountain with cards and get them built up and nearly getting to the top. It's either you or someone who you were with doing it. Okay? But in a way, life is a bit like that, isn't it? He's using it as an example. And what he's saying to you is, you know, boy, sometimes someone can do something and it just falls down, or it can stay steady. It's not about how you place things in life. It's just about sometimes the way it is. This is what he wants to say to you. All right? But this is a man who absolutely, my goodness me, he isn't just proud of you. He just needs you to know you. And there must be a watch linking to him still here. Yeah. And you have it. He said you have it. Or want it. Or you wanted it. Or it was supposed to come to you, he's saying. I just feel you will get it. There's something you will get. But it's time. Yeah. And he hasn't got much more to say other than he absolutely loves you. And I heard the name David being shouted in as well. The name of David. But also Jack was shouted in as well. And Anne, a lady's name of Anne was shouted in. And there's September, a birthday around you as well, he just said. Okay? But I think that's you or someone else. So can I please leave his love with you?
Thank you.
And he just did that. But just know, he's saying, I meant every single word I've just said.
Right, thank you.
Right? And he really did, lovely. I don't know if you've got a Bible, or there's something about a Bible. There's something about a little Bible.
No.
Or something to do, or I don't know if Mum had it, or there's a little book that he had, or a little something he had. I think he was given it as opposed to using it. But I know someone's got it, and he's just talking about it. It might come to light later, I don't know, but he's just mentioned it to you. All right?
Right, thank you.
But lots of love, and thank you for working with me, and God bless. Okay. Can I come to the lady who she's undefined, with the long hair and the glasses, tinted glasses?
Her name's Ruth, I believe.
Ruth, do you mind working with me, darling? Can you turn your mic on so I can?
Let me just have a look, see if I can. I can't find her at the moment.
Okay. Until your mic goes on, just nod.
There you go. It's on.
Yeah. Is your mic on? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I've got a father coming in, Ruth, and I've got a gentleman who came straight in right next to you there, and very much a gentleman who I don't feel he's a tall gentleman, but I do feel with him he's not small. He's mid-height as I look at him. but very much a man who, if I took your hair off, you'd be him. Although he's not wearing tinted glasses. And I know with this, I know he's got a vest on under his shirt, very much that way. But I do feel with this gentleman, and I know there are issues with him here, because he's just gone up. But I feel this is more his emotions than anything else. I don't feel this was health issues. I feel these are his emotions. And I just feel as he comes in, he's very emotional as he's coming in. But I don't feel when he was here on the earth plane, he was overly emotional. He was a man who kept his emotions to himself, he tells me. Although he could have opinions, but with this gentleman, he's not afraid to speak his mind, he tells me. And he likes to be comfortable. He's not a suit and boot man, but I do feel with him very much a man who I've got to be comfortable in what I wear. And he's... especially his feet. He has this thing about his feet. If you wear, you can't wear plastic with him, and you should remember that because you always had to have leather shoes. And he was very much a man who he does call a spade a spade. And I do feel with him, he's shown me he likes to be out in the garden, but I feel he's a potterer, he's a doer, he's a veggie grower, he's somebody who I like to be occupied, but I like to be doing it my way. I feel that was his space, that was his place as well. And I do feel with him very much a man who, if he could, he would. He's got this lovely way about him as he comes in, but he's got a sense of humor, but he doesn't do a rudeness. He doesn't like liars. He's definitely a man who is very, very old school, but he's telling me he doesn't have an opinion until asked. If you ask his opinion, my goodness, you'll get it. But he's smiling because he didn't suffer fools at all, this gentleman. He doesn't suffer fools. And he wouldn't have a problem sorting that out. He wouldn't have a problem saying, and because it's my house, and if you don't like me, there's a door there, you can use it. And the thing is, you have a mother with him. You've got your mum's in spirit as well. And your mum is a strong lady. And your mum is a lady with her sleeves up. And your mum is a lady where your hair's long, her hair's waved as I look at her. And she's shown me very much, she would have worn an apron or a pinny sometimes, or an overall. But very plain, as in blouse and skirt with this lady. She was very much a tidy woman, but practical. And very much a lady who I think is the boss. Because as she came in, she's stronger than him. She seems to overpower him a little. But I just feel in their own right, they're two very strong personalities, hard workers. Your dad definitely is a man that way. And I just feel very much a couple who, well, they could banter and they could have their moments, but they absolutely loved each other's pieces. And I just feel as she's coming in, she's trying to get your hair back. She's trying to pull your hair back. And she's smiling because when you were little, you would never have got away with your hair down like that, ever. It would have been tied back. Yeah. And there's a photograph of you when you were younger and you've got a smock top dress. She's shown me, and you look quite dainty. And I just feel with it. And there's an old fashioned pram, you know, the old Silver Cross prams. And she's shown me with the old fashioned sunshade, and you sitting in this pram and you look like butter wouldn't melt. And you have that photograph. And I feel it's black and white. Yeah. And she's showing me having the old navy blue bag on there, but also there was a child sitting on the end, or used to get put in on the end sometimes. So I don't know if it's hers or it was just, you know, if there was anybody with her with little ones, she just shove them in, you know. She says, we don't follow things, we just got on with things. Because I feel you have a lot of family around you as well. And she's talking about the fact that your family all had a big part in the life. But your mum was one of those ladies who she liked her own space. She liked, and she's showing me she's the old fashioned, I've got to wash the land before I put the washing out. And she's laughing because apparently when you were younger, you used to like sitting on the stairs. And there's something about you playing under a table or sitting under a table or liking to be in spaces where you could play. Yeah. And she was very much a lady, you know, go and play while I'm doing. And she had an old larder where you used to go in sometimes, and very much a lady who can speak her mind. And I just feel as they're both coming in around you. There's something about where your unit behind you, she's talking about the unit that you've got there. And I just feel with her, you've got something belonging her in there, because she's just mentioned it. Yeah. I can't hear you, lovely. You're quiet. And she's just talking about it, but I just feel with her, she said something about she would have had them all out and washed them all and put them all back, which you do regular. Now, when in doing something recently, you must have chipped something off something accidentally, and there's something you had to glue back on, right? And she's saying to you, because you got all upset over it. She said you got really upset, and she said, stop being so silly. She said, it's still there. It's still the same thing, okay? And I know somebody wrote poetry or has written a poem, and somebody, she's shown me the poem Footsteps, or somebody loves the poem Footsteps, and you've got the music to it as well, she said, okay? And I don't know who Paula or Pauline is, but she's just mentioned that name, all right? But I feel that name links to somebody either around you or within family and spirit, because that name's just been shouted in, okay? Well, I'll let you think about it, but as she comes in, she's talking about the fact that you have her ring. There's nothing fancy with it. There must be a plain ring linking to mum or to a lady, because she's talking about a ring. And your mum didn't have a lot of jewelry. Your mum didn't have a lot of something. Or unless it's something to do with you. This is to do with, you know, like the old curtain wedding rings. You know, the old, so I don't know if it's hers or someone linking to her that you have or had, because she just mentioned it. All right. But you like nice things. You have a lot of jewelry yourself. Okay. And all she's saying is, I don't feel we're talking about, you know, like lots of rings or anything like that. I feel it's necklace or a crystal, or there's something to do with a chain. Okay. Now, I don't know what it is you've got that's got a chain that the fastenings. Okay. I get it. I was getting confused what she was on about. And what she's saying is, and that's quite special to you. Yeah. And she's smiling. She's smiling. And all she's saying to you is, you know, love, sometimes in life, some of the things, it's not about the objects. It's not about the material stuff we have. What's important is the people. And she needs to remind you of that. Yes. Yeah. And she needs to remind you of how much, you know, your mum loves you. But she's not a lady to tell you this every 5 minutes. She was definitely not a lady to. And she said, oh, I did have me moaning moments. I did. And but she loves her sweet stuff as well. This lady loves her sweet stuff. And if you asked her what she had, she wouldn't tell you the truth. She would not tell you the truth, because she'd say, oh, I've only had this. And then the next minute you go, Mum, you've just had, and she go, yeah. But that was her way. And I just feel, I don't know if it's you or her that used to like the treacle sponge in the tins. You know, the stuff I used to be terrified of them, me, where you bubble them. Yeah. And she said, I'm telling you now, I've got a giant one in spirit and I'm eating it. But there's something about you and liking the porry cream, you know, the evaporated milk. But somebody used to, yeah. And she's showing me, you know, the old milk you used to get in a tin was like a clump and you had to mix it. Because she's showing me that. I think it's Russell's or Bustle, wherever you call it. But she's on about you. You like anything like that, don't you? But she's talking about something to do with your jaw. Now, I don't know if you've had problems with your jaw or your teeth or a tooth. And it's like, yeah, and it's been quite painful. And your knee as well. She's on about your knee and your ankle. And I don't know if you use a stick or been using a stick. But she says you need a proper one. You need something that's going to hold better. I feel with you, sometimes your shoulders get a little bit achy. And she just said, yeah. And she's just said, well, at this rate, love, she says between the pair of us, we're not going to have much that works. And I don't know who used to listen to Jim Reeves, because I know she loves Jim, or someone loves Jim Reeves. The old crooners songs. But I think it's someone linking to her that used to like them. And Dad's just turned around and said, well, there's no point me being here. She's not letting me talk. But your dad just wants to say, I just feel there's this love here, and he just wants to apologize as well. I just feel with him, it's about letting you know they're there. All right. And but Mum just said to say to you something about a washing machine. And something about, I don't know if there's something to do with the drawer of the washing machine or doing something with washing, but she just said be careful. All right. I feel with your mum, there must be a link with a twin tub, or she used to have a twin tub. Or you used to, somebody used to have, and used to be terrified of it, the spinner side of it. She's just mentioning. But she said there's nothing better than wringing out your clothes by hand. Okay. But I'm going to leave her love with you. And I don't know who Elaine is, but she's just mentioned the name of Elaine. And also Joan was mentioned in. Okay. And they just, and I don't know, all I get is very much lots and lots of love. Okay. So can I say thank you for working with me? And a big kiss from Mum. You're welcome, my darling. And God bless. You're welcome. Can I work with Effie Rogers, please?
Evening.
Hello, good evening, darling. You okay to work with me?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I've got a gentleman. It's my night for gentlemen's first, but I've got a gentleman with you coming in, and I feel with this gentleman, as he comes in, he's very well presented. He's very much a man who, I think, when he went anywhere, he was a very smart man. I feel he's a father as he comes in. And I do feel with this gentleman, it's really funny, but I don't know if you were cleaning glasses a minute ago or doing something, or he would have cleaned glasses, because he showed me something about cleaning glasses as he came in.
One of the jobs I dislike doing.
Yeah. Well, he's doing it. But I just feel that he's coming in around you. He is very much a man who straight to the point, straight in. He doesn't mess around.
Okay.
But he's actually a very nice man as he comes in. But I do feel with him, he chooses if he speaks or not. But very much a clean-shaven gentleman, as I look at him. And very much a man who dresses plain but smart. And as he comes in around you, he was cleaning glasses. And there's something about you and your eyes, because he was talking about your eyes as he came in. And he was talking about with him, he liked things done properly, or as much as he could, but he likes to get on with things. He's not someone to procrastinate or hold back, but I just feel he did his own time. I do feel you're very like your father in some ways, but I also feel you're opposites.
That's right. That's right.
I feel you and your father could have your moments, is the word I would use. Because he just said to me, he said, she did push me to my limits. Because you have your own opinions. You're not afraid to stand up for yourself.
That's correct.
And the thing is, with your father, he's not a man to admit this, and I don't feel he ever admitted this to your face. But actually, you were more than a match for him. And I have to say, there's a lot of emotion with him as he comes in, and he wants to apologize, because I just feel with your father, he was not a man to apologize. He was not a man. He's saying he might have been very proud and he might have felt things here, but I just feel with him, he wants to say this to you, because I feel there's a lot of love for you, but he's not what I call somebody who would wear his heart on his sleeve.
It's a generation.
Exactly. And you are of a similar ilk, but there's more to you than meets the eye, he tells me. And he's saying that's better. He likes your smile. But I do feel with your father, he had a lovely sense of humour.
Yes.
And he was very dry and very quick with his humour, in the right place. He knew exactly how his timing was good. He was very much a man who he knew when to be appropriate, he's telling me. And he's smiling. And I just feel as he's coming in around you, it's almost that he's coming in not just to support you, but he's coming in to lighten things up as well. Because I just feel he's trying to be a support to you.
Good.
And he feels he could have supported you a lot better when he'd been here.
That's an argument, yes.
Yeah. And we're good at arguments, he said.
That's true.
And you always have to win.
Not necessarily.
Sorry, it's your father's view. And he had a little twinkle in his eye when he said that. Because I just feel what he's saying is you've had to, in your life, you've had to be tough. You've had to have the strength in your life to get to a point where you are today.
Correct.
And your father's very proud of you for that fact. And he definitely doesn't pay a compliment unless he means it. He's definitely not a man to smooth anybody. He is literally what you see is what you get.
Correct.
But I do feel he's also a man who likes to be organised, and he likes to know what's what, so then he can deal with things. You are very much an organizer. You are very much somebody who likes to be in control of the situation. Well, like most of us, really.
Yeah.
And at the moment, those certain things around you have not quite felt right, or there's something not been right.
That's correct.
And he's coming in to say to you, because sometimes your emotions run very, very deep. You're not a lady to ask for help. You like to be able to solve things yourself, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, he's saying. But I do feel with him, he's also wanting to say to you as he's coming in, you know, sometimes a solution is not always what we think it's going to be. So I don't know.
Very philosophical there.
It is, isn't it? My back's gone really straight as he's coming.
Yeah.
And
It's more than him there at the moment.
I know, but he's not letting him in yet. He's not letting him in yet. But there is another gentleman, and who's very, very different. And my back's just gone right the way up like this. And who's a bit taller. And well, I might as well let him in because I don't think I'm going to have much choice. And he has a sense of humour.
Right.
He has a lovely sense of humour, but I do feel a closer link to you than father.
Right.
And as he comes in, he's very much a man comfortable in his own skin, this gentleman. He's very much a man as he comes in. But the really interesting thing is, as you're sitting there, he's trying to close your curtains. But I do feel with this gentleman, he is very much a man just in shirt and trousers as well. But I do feel he would have worn a jumper sometimes or a jacket.
Eldest brother.
Yeah. And I do feel with him, he has a teasing nature about him. I do.
Correct.
And he would have teased you quite terribly.
Yes.
But I do feel if you needed him in your corner, he's there.
Definitely.
And he said, I'm not going anywhere. And I just have this real strong feeling as he came in. I have goosebumps. This man really loves you.
Yeah. Kid sister.
And I just, mother, he called you mum number 2.
No, we wouldn't go there.
He's going there.
Well, I wouldn't.
He's teasing you. Teasing you. But that's what he did when he was here. He was very much that way. But I just feel with him, he wants to see a smile. Because I just feel with him, to get a reaction from you was to loosen you up a bit. But apparently you can run faster than him.
I could, yeah.
And apparently you can fight as well as him.
So, well, it depends what the topic is.
Yeah, and he's smiling. But there's something about you and playing games. If you were to play games, he's shown me, and very competitive, all of you. And
all of us, yes.
Yeah, you were never ever taught not to fight or compete. I just
Correct.
feel you were always taught that you had to win no matter what.
No, not that far, but
With him,
to be
brother.
competitive. No,
Yeah.
he was the mediator.
Well, he's just saying, I feel with him, he is talking about, I don't feel he meant it as harshly as it came with my lips, but I just feel with him, in a way, it's like he's trying to encourage you not to give up on something. All right?
Yeah, it's probably trying to get on to places like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did it. You got there.
Eventually.
And he's just wanting to say to you, you know, we said there was no way you weren't going to, because I want to talk to you. And I just feel these memories are loving memories, because there are a lot of times that were good fun. But there's something about being by water.
Yes, we live by water.
And there's something about a boat or boating or doing something on water.
When he was younger, they used to throw money over the river for the
Right.
Americans.
Yeah.
Or the Americans would throw to the youngsters.
Yeah, because he's just talking about it, but someone nearly ended up over something, or somebody nearly literally ended up.
That's possible, yeah.
Yeah. And he's smiling, and I just feel these are memories that make him smile.
Yeah.
And what he's saying to you, but there is something to do with a financial situation or something has been sorted. Now, I'll only go so far. This is a public arena. But he's just coming in to say to you, do what your heart tells you. It's about you actually doing what's right for you.
Yes, I appreciate that.
And he's I do apologize, and I'm not being rude, but he said, I know you appreciate it, but will you please listen?
I do.
Yeah, because I just feel you have an amazing heart. You are an amazing person, but he's saying, come on, girl, it's time for you. Okay. And I just feel he wants to remind you of that fact. Now, I don't know if it was you that had the record player, the portable record player.
Well, yes, I think we all did, yeah.
Yeah, but he's talking about it Pacific, because you used to like dancing and you used to like doing things. And you love dancing.
Yes.
And he's just trying to encourage you to do something similar now. I just feel, put your music on, dance.
Ask him when lockdown's finishing then.
And I don't know who used to do the Highland Fling, but there's something about the Highland Fling or a kind of country type dancing.
Well, that's, yeah.
Yeah, and all he's actually saying is, but there is something to do with you sorting something out of a health nature as well. And but I feel this is about no, it's not health. It's about you walking. It's about you going out. It's about you doing. Okay.
Okay, he tells me. Yeah, he was a policeman, so he's just reminding me to obey the rules.
No, well, yeah. He said that's like telling the sun not to come up, lovely. Your rules have a corner. And yes, he's smiling, but I just feel as he comes in around you, it literally is just to say, you do what is right for you. And there's something about steps on a house, or steps.
No, I think this is to do with spiritualism.
Well, he's talking about something to do with steps. No, this is to do with somewhere where you're going, or somewhere where you're going to. And I know you have to go up steps, and there's a railing. And these are long concrete steps. These are long concrete ones.
Well, I'll watch out for them in case I fall down.
I don't know if this... No, you won't fall down. It looks like an old church, or a church, or a concrete building, or an old hall of some kind. I just feel he's saying, you know something, just keep going, is what he's saying to you, and do what's right for you. All right?
Yeah.
And I heard something to do with Canada, or there's a link to Canada in something.
There's family in Canada, yeah.
And I don't know if you were thinking of visiting, or someone was talking about visiting.
I've been there.
And as I was pulling away and I thought I'd finished, a lady came in, and she's in trousers and a blouse and a jacket. She comes in, and her hair is absolutely immaculate. It doesn't change, doesn't move, this hair. And I do feel with this lady, she was as sharp as a tack right up until the day she went to spirit. And I do feel she's on mum's side. as she
Oh,
comes.
then maybe a cousin.
Yeah, and I just feel with her as she comes in, lovely way about her, but a big support to you. And she just wants you to know. She wanted to say hello. All right.
Okay.
But I just feel just to let you know that family's around you. Very, very.
Yeah.
And I heard the name Jim being shouted in.
That was him.
And also Danny or Dan was also shouted in.
No, we would have been Dad.
And I also Jack also was shouting, but Roger was also shouted in. And
yeah.
and will you please, and Ethel,
That's a name in the family, yes.
right? Okay, and Rose also was shouted in. Okay.
Oh, that was an old neighbor. I used to write to her, yes.
She's just saying hello, and
Mhm.
I saw a Celtic cross.
Well, I am Irish, yes.
Right, and just to remind you of who you are.
I know who I am, yes.
I know you do, but it's just their way of doing it, and
Yeah.
it's just, if I don't know you, and it's just I work on evidence, and that's how they wanted you to know.
Yeah,
But seriously, just to know, if we if we were going forever and a day, your room would be that full, you wouldn't be able to move. But to let you know you're not on your own, lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much indeed. I'm just getting used to this because I too work as a medium.
Yeah, you keep going, lovely. That's all I heard. Keep going. And lots and lots and lots of love. But thank you for working with me, okay?
Thank you. Yes,
I'm so
cheers.
pleased you managed to get on.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, my darling. Kevin, how long have I got?
How long's a piece of string? You can have that as your final one, or you can have another one if you like. It's up to
Can I
you.
do one more, please?
Yes, please.
Because,
Go ahead.
I've got a gentleman here. Is it Chris Vaughan?
Mhm.
Do you mind working with me?
Yeah, that's fine. Evening.
A good evening, lovely. Because I've got a gentleman with you who's really, it was almost like if he could, he'd pick up your headphones and go boo.
Right.
He has a lovely sense of humour. And I do feel with this gentleman, he might have one time brushed his own hair back or combed his own hair back. And I think it might have been Brill cream in his hair as I look at
Yeah.
it. He's clean shaven and he's looking at your whiskers and he's going, that's not a good look. But he's definitely a gentleman who you're wearing very similar shirt to what he would have worn, although his is long folded. But I do feel with him, and he has a little bit of weight. He's not him, but I feel it's all around the middle here. And he's telling me he loved his food. He's definitely a man when he was here. He would never, if he said no to food, he was ill. If he said no, he was ill. And he's definitely a gentleman who I just feel with him. He would have minded his P's and Q's. He is a gentleman and he has got such a lovely way about him. But I do feel with him, he's not a fool. And he's definitely someone you would want his advice. You would go to him for advice. And his advice was always sound.
Yeah.
He liked the odd pint, he tells me, but a proper pint, none of the modern day rubbish. And not one you could stir with your pen, and he's laughing about it. But I do feel, and he also would have liked a little one now and again.
Yeah, that's right.
And I feel that little one became as he got a bit older. And I don't think he's afraid to have it in his tea either, because I know he's showing me sometimes you'd have to be careful if you picked up his tea. There might be a little bit of something in it. Yeah, and I feel when you were younger, you might have tried having a little bit and burning your throat because he's talking.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I keep seeing cigarette papers though.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing him very, very particular about certain things. And there's a tin, there's a tobacco tin. But in this tin also, there's coins in a tin. And it's showing me you liking to take the lid off and playing with the coins. And I feel you used to ask him questions. And there's something about collecting stamps.
Yeah.
Well, and he's showing me you with books and drawing, or you used to draw, or you used to doodle is the word I'd use. This is hangman. This is noughts and crosses and hangman.
Yeah.
And I felt very fatherly with him when he came in. And I feel with this gentleman, he had, before he went to spirit, there was a lot with him that wasn't right. a lot.
Definitely.
And God bless his heart. He really coped. He dealt with it well. But
Yeah.
he was not a man to moan. But God
No.
bless him. He said, when I got to the end, he said, I was ready to curse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
It's like he went down in size a bit.
Mm.
And it's almost like he said, well, put it this way, you would have had a cheap funeral because there wasn't a lot of me left.
No, they weren't.
And I feel quite sick actually when I'm talking about it. But I just feel, God bless his heart, towards the end of his life, for those around, it wasn't pleasant.
No.
And very proud of you, he is, and he absolutely loves you.
Good.
And there's something about a conservatory, cleaning a conservatory,
Yeah.
and an issue with a conservatory window,
Yeah.
and you've not fixed it.
No.
And he said, why not? He said, don't you moan if you've got things wrong because it's your own fault. But he's the kind of gentleman, he would have had a tool for every job if he could.
Definitely.
And it would have been right tool, right job. Okay? And I don't know if it's you with a big gas barbecue or a barbecue or something. I don't know if it's gas or there's a barbecue. There's something about a barbecue.
There's a big one.
You don't do anything by halves and you don't do little things.
No.
Ever.
No.
Ever. And he's smiling, and there's something to do with a patio area or an area where you've not finished it.
No, I haven't touched it. I've got to though.
Yeah, you know you do. He says,
I know.
He said, listen, he said, you've just had all this time at home. He says, and what have you done?
Not the patio.
It's not Brookside, he said. There's not a body under there, you know. But I just feel with him as he's coming in. It really is. It's just to prove he's around you. You know that, don't you? Because when he was,
I do, yeah.
he would have teased you. When he was here, he would have joshed you. When he was, that was his way. But you miss him. You miss him like crazy. And
Yeah.
I know where you are, lad. I do. But it's really funny. He's got, you know, the old Wilkinson razor.
Right, yeah.
He's hovering. He's hovering.
Just, yeah.
But he's shown me you changing job.
Right.
Or there's something you want to change in a job. And but he's shown me you thinking of retraining for something.
Right.
Okay. Or you're thinking of adding something to a pan or in a pot. There's something you're thinking of doing.
That's right, yeah.
And he's backing you up. He's nodding, and he said, "You go for it, boy. You just keep going for it." He said, "It will be all right."
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good, yeah.
But also, there's matters of the heart. And your dad's just giving you a kiss on the cheek. But you sometimes don't speak up when you should.
It's true.
And all he's trying to encourage you to do is speak from your heart, okay?
Yeah, that's good.
And there's little ones.
Yeah.
And a little boy he's talking about. Who, my goodness me, he's not so little. He's really coming up.
He is now, yeah.
But there's a little girl as well.
Yeah.
Who can beat anyone hands down, apparently.
Yeah. Bit feisty.
Is there a baby as well? Or there's something about someone's talked about a baby or talked about another one?
Somebody's talking, a best friend who's never fell pregnant.
And wants to get pregnant.
She wants to, and she's talking about it. And I think it will be happening soon.
That's just coming in. And all he's saying is, because, you know, we can't tell if your dad's just gone, Goss is on. But I do feel it's about patience, and it's about actually working with the system as well.
Yeah.
But he's just said about also having fun doing as opposed to making things hard work. All right?
Yeah. All about the fun.
Yeah, and Dad, it's really strange because as you're sitting there with your headphones on, Dad's shown me, I don't know if this is a memory or him taking the Michael, but he's shown me you in a small plane.
Right, yeah, I can take that, yeah.
And you must be thinking of doing something, or there's something you're thinking of going to. and he's just saying, "Oh,
Mm.
he did this with his hands." Now I don't know where the Jersey link is, because he's also just mentioned Jersey.
Right.
Oh no, I know what that is. That's something to do with wine. That's something to do with. This is going back a little. This is something else. And he's laughing. All right.
Mm.
But he's just said apparently you had a hangover,
Yes.
and he's smiling.
Yes. That brings it back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you haven't made that mistake since.
No. Definitely not.
But all he's saying is, but life's about that, isn't it, lad? Life is about. And he mentioned something to do with cricket.
Right. Yes.
And there's something to do with your little ones. And all he's saying is, listen, you remember, have the fun and make the memories. It doesn't cost money.
True.
Let yourself go. It's
Mm.
loosen up. Stop being so tough. All right. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you were banging a computer or banging something before we started. Or there's something going on with something mechanical around you.
Yeah.
And he's laughing his socks off. He says,
Yeah.
go easy. Go easy. All right.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take that. That's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's laughing and he says, oh,
Mm.
he says, you're going to be spending money.
I know. Quite a bit.
And there's something about a Visa card,
Yes.
826 at the end, or 826 in the
Yeah.
number.
That's
Right.
right. Yeah.
And there must be a card, I don't know if it's this card or another card, with a March expiry date.
Right.
And, sorry, I'm not going to give you a pin.
No. Yeah.
You look a bit panicky. All he's saying to you is just be careful, all right? There's something about there's something not quite about something. And all he's saying is just be careful. Okay?
Right. That's
But
cool.
it really is a simple I love you. Nothing
Lovely.
simple about that, but
Oh, yeah.
to him it means everything. All
Mm.
right. And there's a sister.
Yeah.
Because I don't forget to tell her he loves her as well. There's a lot of things been going on that's not right.
Definitely.
And he says, you're right in what you say. He says, if I'd been here, that'd have been sorted.
Mm.
Okay. But he's on the job and he's supporting. Okay.
Lovely. Yeah.
And as I pull away, there's a young man who passed in a bike accident around you.
Yeah.
And oh God, blimey. He had brown hair as well, but not quite as he's thinner than you. And wicked sense of humour, but also hard work. Really hard
Yeah,
work.
definitely. Yeah.
And I don't know if the name Steve or Stephen is around, but I also heard that name shouted in.
Yeah.
And it's just to say hello. It's just to join in. And it's like I'm doing the old, you know, when someone's doing the bunny rabbit ears?
Yeah. Definitely.
Doing that with you. He says, oh, he's getting old. But I'm going to leave his love with you as well, Chris. So can I
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're Christopher.
Well, when I'm naughty.
Well, as I finished there, this lady shouted in, it's Christopher, not Chris.
Yeah.
And I know it's your nan. Yeah,
It is.
You're Christopher.
Always Christopher with her.
You
Yeah.
will not let me call you Chris. And she said,
No.
tell him I'm also here and give him me love.
Lovely.
All right, my darling. But
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you.
with me, and God bless. And
No. Thank you.
bye.
Cheerio. Thank you.
You're
Lovely.
welcome. That's me, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Kez. And lovely evidential readings there, mixed with a bit of humour as well. So the energy was very good. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Right, all that remains then is for me to give out the notifications and play our closing prayer. Don't forget, we can keep the room open for anybody who wants to chat afterwards. Our next service will be next Saturday, 4th of July at 7 p.m. and our guest medium will be Sue Smith. Remember that you can request to add yourself or a loved one to our distant healing list through our website at www.amadeity.org. For those who may be interested, I've also opened a spiritual community where we can all get to know each other. This can also be found on the Amadeity.org website. So now I'll hand over to Kez for our closing prayer, which will be followed by our closing music.
Okay.
Over to you, Kez.
Can I just say thank you to each and every one of you for allowing me to be with your family. It's a real honour. God bless. So we'd all like to go into the silence. I'd like to give thanks to the Divine Spirit, Mother, Father, God, our loved ones, angels and helpers who all drew close this evening, to remind each and every one of us that we are all of that one heart, one light and one love. And as we go out into our daily lives and mix with our fellow man, may we share and spread that light and love, so each may know they are part of the biggest family of all, never to be on their own. And I ask this in the name of that great Spirit, who is pure love. Amen.
Amen.
God be with you till we meet again. By his counsel's guide uphold you, with his sheep securely fold you. God be with you till we meet again.
God be with you till we meet again. Neath his wings securely hide you. Daily manna still provide you. God be with you till we meet again. Till we meet, till we meet, till we meet at Jesus' feet. Till we meet, till we meet. God be with you till we meet again.
God be with you till we meet again. When life's perils they confound you, put his arms unfailing round you. God be with you till we meet again.
Till we meet, till we meet,
Till we meet at Jesus' feet.
till we meet, till we meet.
God be with you. God be with you. Oh, God be with you till we meet again.